The dust has settled on the most controversial Monaco Grand Prix of all time. Welcome back to Fog Racing. We are here to rate every single driver from 1 to 10. How would you rate this season so far?
I tell you what, I'd rather be labelled the most controversial Monaco Grand Prix than the most boring Monaco Grand Prix. There's been a lot of boring Monaco Grand Prix. Not that this race was overly exciting, but
it was funny. It was entertaining.
The weird strategies and the drama I think was interesting. In terms of actual on track racing, it was fucking dog shit. But just seeing the frustration of Sainz and Lawson holding people up, and then the Williams switching around, and Russell getting upset and just completely driving over the chicane to do an illegal pass. You know,
what would have happened?
It was interesting in a way.
What would have happened if people started cutting the chicane as soon as Lawson started backing them up on like lap 7? It would have been probably the most retarded race of all time. The FIA have not prepared for that.
Yeah, I mean,
like, Russell didn't do it until like 15 laps to go, at which point they were like 4 laps behind everybody.
If we get to this stage next season, you've got similar rules in,
it will be bedlam.
If someone catches on that there's a team in front doing the same tactic, I mean, they're going to give it a couple of laps, aren't they? And then if they see that they're losing 4 seconds a lap, they're just going to do it.
Yeah, go for it. Of course they're going to do it. I mean, is there a way to fix it? You can't really implement a rule where it's like, oh, you have to you have to drive a minimum lap time of this because different conditions, tires, rain, etc.
I've seen a rule saying, oh, make sure that they take their first pit stop by lap 20.
The gaps would still be.
If you're going as slow as like Lawson, we're talking they were going like 4 seconds a lap slow. All you need is 5 laps, and that's you made up a pit stop.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
So you could you do that for 10 laps and you're still allowed your teammate to get the 2 pit stops ahead. So honestly,
you have to change the track. You have to they need to change the layout. DRS through the tunnel for one. Jesus Christ, why have we no thought of that? I know there's a corner in the tunnel, right? But even just from like the curve in the tunnel for that point to the not the swimming pool, the chicane, it's like that would be enough. Something.
Say if a team gets a 1-2.
Aye.
What's stopping them from doing that? What we see?
Well, see, I think that would have made it 100 times worse. But then,
you could
would Piastri have done that for Norris and vice versa?
Well, that's the thing. You could argue, like, would the guy in second do that? But like,
and is Hamilton going to do that? Well, I mean, we'll get to Hamilton by the way, because I don't know what he was.
No, but like that. I mean. For some reason, I know Monaco's extremely difficult to overtake, but like these guys were going incredibly slow, and there was no one ever got close to an overtake. Just, it was strange.
One guy completed an overtake, and it was fucking brilliant. And his name was Lance Stroll. And you know what? We may as well start at Aston Martin. He had the worst weekend I've ever seen, but he overtook someone coming out the tunnel around the outside. I think it was Hulkenberg, and that's why he finished 15th. But I'm going to give Lance Stroll a 1 out of 10. Got multiple grid penalties. Was nowhere near Alonso. Qualified 19th. His teammate got like, 6th?
Why are we starting with Lance Stroll, by the way, out of curiosity?
Because it was a good tie-in, wasn't it?
Right,
there's two teams. I mean, there's a lot of teams here that I can see on the screen that we're looking at. I'm giving Lance Stroll a 1 out of 10. The guy's fucking shit.
Yeah, he is. Right, I'll give him a 2.
No, on it, this is a very unique situation in F1 where we've got a guy who's literally just there because of his son, his dad. At what age does Lance Stroll get booted out of Aston Martin because he's just pish?
Soon, I would imagine.
I mean, Alonso's 43, 44. Is Lance Stroll going to be rocking up when he's 43, 44? Because, Alonso's had talent to lose as he gets older. Lance Stroll's had nothing.
Pierre Gasly, what are you giving him?
Well, fucking Pierre Gasly, with they teams. So Stroll's a 1. Alonso.
I'll give him a 2. 1.5 out of 10.
Well, I think Alonso a 2, is it?
No, Alonso was doing. Alonso was having a good race, having a good weekend. I think I'll give him an 8.
I'll give him an 8.
It's not his fault.
He was going to finish 6th, 7th, or 8th, right? It was something in there. I think it probably would have been 7th, but Yeah, I'll give him an 8 as well. Right. Pierre Gasly crashed straight into the back of Yuki Tsunoda. Qualified 17th. Shocker of a weekend. I will give Pierre Gasly. I'm going to give him a 1 out of 10. Fuck it, I thought it was shocker anyway.
Yeah, I think this guy's he's went backwards, hasn't he? His career.
He has. I mean, just this season's not really done anything for Pierre Gasly. I mean, a few, the odd decent drive, but inconsistent. Up next, we've got Colapinto. Started 18th, finished 13th. That's pretty impressive around Monaco. I will give him a 5 out of 10.
That's fair.
Second weekend back, man, around Monaco. It's tough.
But you know what, though? I mean, I feel like you could have easily made up a bunch of positions if you just pit it first when everyone was stuck behind the Williams. So
20th to 12th.
Yeah, it's not, and like how much do we really credit Ollie Behrman for that, you know, and or how much was it more down to Haas just bring them in for, you know, I'll give Colapinto a 5, like.
Fair enough. Right, moving into, we'll go to Sauber next. Hulkenberg qualified 13th, finished 16th. I mean, I will give him a 5 out of 10. I feel like this is, honestly, it's just so hard to rate because it's like, you know what, he had a decent qualifying and then just got screwed by Williams, Lawson, Mercedes, everybody ahead of him. So I'll give Nico Hulkenberg a 5 out of 10.
5 out of 10. I agree. 5 straight down the middle.
Right, his teammate finished 14th, started 16th. You know what though? I'm actually going to give Bortoletto a 6 out of 10 because Antonelli put him in the wall and he somehow finished above Antonelli and his teammate. It's a 6 out of 10.
That's fair. I know he did do pretty well. I'll give him a 6 as well.
Right, up next, Mercedes. We'll go with Antonelli. Crashed out in Q1, started 15th, finished 18th. I'm gonna stick by this. I think it's the worst strategy I've ever seen by a team. Didn't split it, didn't do anything, didn't roll the dice. I don't think it would have changed anything.
At one point, there was only 2 drivers not to make a pit, and they were still stuck behind.
And we're sitting on
like
lap 17. It's like, what are we actually doing here?
Yeah, I mean, is that Kimi Antonelli's fault? Don't know.
You know what? I'm giving him a 1 out of 10. He crashed out. That cost him big time. And then, yeah, it's a 1 out of 10, man. You can learn from it, but it was fucking shocking, isn't he?
It's just a shite. I'll give him a 3. Just stuck there and done nothing.
He crashed out in qualifying though, and that's what set him back. Russell, engine blew up in qualifying. Wee bit unlucky. Managed to cut the chicane. Finished 11th. Do not understand why Antonelli was sacrificed, by the way, to just secure Mercedes P11, but they did it nonetheless. And I will give George Russell a 4 out of 10.
Yeah, at this point, I'm actually surprised Russell went through that hassle just to try and get 11th spot. You know,
I am not even exaggerating.
See, by the time he cut the track, I mean, it was over.
See Williams once they realised what they were... see Mercedes once they realised what Williams were doing, they should have just pit it and double DNF'd. Saved the engines.
Yeah.
Because it's pointless. It's actually a waste of exercise.
I mean, I'll give Russell a 4 because, I mean... I kind of like how he just went fuck it and cheated, but he should have just done that 20 laps earlier.
Yeah. The Williams teammates, you know what? Start at 10, finish 9, start at 11, finish
Carlos
10.
Sainz helped his teammate out, didn't he? I guess he was a fair team player.
I'll give him 2 7s. I know Albon beat him, but there's no honour amongst thieves, and I feel like most guys fucking robbed points today.
Yeah, I mean, I guess they did a good job of holding, but then again, it looked easy, didn't it? I'll give them both a 6 out of 10.
Right, we'll do Red Bull. So Yuki Tsunoda started 12th, finished 17th. He did get his rear end and wing punted into next week, but
it's a 1 for me. I've been so disappointed with Tsunoda. I actually thought he was going to be pretty good at Red Bull. Don't know how good I expected him to be. Maybe similar. I don't know. I probably didn't expect him to be as good as Perez at Perez's best, but I expect him to be better than Perez at Perez's worst, and I expect him to be better than Lawson, but he's pretty much just proven to be...
I'll give him a 1 out of 10. What I will say about Tsunoda, if he was in the RB, he would have been where Hadjar is, or Lawson, easily. It's just that second Red Bull can no get tamed, apparently.
I wonder if he regrets it now. Because see, the start of the season, we were saying we didn't think it was fair how he he was not the one to get promoted up. But I mean, with hindsight, I mean, he could be sitting there thinking, you know what, fuck, it was a blessing in disguise, and I kind of wished he'd kept me in the RB.
No, absolutely.
You wonder if Isaac Hadjar's thinking, you know what, see if I get the option, I'm going to return it down. I know it would be hard to do that because the Red Bull's the Red Bull, but I mean, we just see so many drivers performing well in RB, then getting called up and not being able to deliver.
Yep. Right, so we've got, we'll go Haas next. Oh, no, sorry, Max Verstappen. Qualified 4th, finished 4th, 7 out of 10. Red Bull didn't have the pace of Ferrari or McLaren, and he beat Hamilton, which I think is actually pretty good.
Hamilton was, I don't know, Hamilton was so far off in the race, unbelievable. I'll give him a 7 out of 10 as well.
Right, Haas, Ollie Berman, P20, 10th place grid penalty, so kind of shaft.
Yeah, it moved up. I mean, I'll give him a 6 into, like, but I mean, it's not like he made 8 or 7 great overtakes to get up to 12. Like, it was just
right. Esteban Ocon started 8th, finished 7th in a Haas, which is fucking arguably the slowest car.
Yeah, I'll give him an 8 out of 10. It was a good performance.
I'll give him a 9, but not so hard with Monaco. It's like, see, as good as like some of the drives are, all you've got to do is just not crash for 7-8 laps, and you're going to finish where you started.
Yeah,
it's basically what happens on a Saturday, and he done it. So well done to him. Right, RB Liam Lawson started 9th, finished 8th. Again, he was the guy that basically guaranteed Hadjar to finish 6th and screwed the rest of us. So
I think I'll give Lawson an 8 out of 10. I think probably one of his best drives.
I'll give him a 7. Hadjar qualified 5th, finished 6th, lost out to Hamilton. You know what? The guy's a rookie.
I'll give him a 9. Very, very good drive.
You know what? Fuck it. I'll give him a 10. He's my star because you know what? Didn't expect much for this guy, and he's fucking.
Yeah, I mean, out of all the rookies, he was probably the one that had the least like hype around him, but he's been the best so far. Right, we're moving on now to, I believe, Ferrari.
Right, Lewis Hamilton. He qualified 4th, got a penalty, started 7th, finished 5th. I think it's unacceptable he didn't beat Max. See, when Max was backing up the top three, where's Hamilton?
Yeah, it's not that he didn't beat Max. He was miles behind Max. I'll give Hamilton I think I'll give him a 5.
He's 48 seconds behind his teammate.
I'll give him a 5. Very slow.
Yeah, I'll give.
Even in qualifying, you just never felt like he was You never felt like he was in the mix.
No, absolutely not. Right, Leclerc.
Just miles behind Leclerc all week.
Started 2nd, finished 2nd. Unlucky.
I'll give Leclerc an 8.
Yeah.
You know, I thought it was.
I think he could have got pole.
Yeah, if he got pole, he probably wins, doesn't he? But
that's the way it works.
That's how it goes.
I'll give an 8 as well. Right, Piastri started 3rd, finished 3rd. I think the gap in the title is 3 points. I mean, a couple of weeks ago, Piastri's going to run away with it. Well, not anymore. Because Norris has closed it to 3 points.
I think I'll give Piastri a 7.
Give him a 7 as well. Bit disappointing because, I mean, I think you'd almost expect by the amount of hype that's went into this guy and the amount of hatred towards Norris is that he'd be like 50 points clear, but he's not. 7 out of 10. And then our final guy, Lando Norris, P1. First guy to ever do an under 70-second lap in Monaco.
Yeah, I'm going to give him a 9 because I think he got that pole to absolutely nowhere, and I think in the race he had it comfortable, didn't he? Like I don't know, I just never felt like Leclerc was putting enough pressure on him. I think Norris seemed to have the win in the bag, didn't he? It got a bit tricky in the end when Verstappen was backing him up, but I just never really felt like Norris was in trouble.
No, but he won. Up next is Spain, which is. I'll give him a 9 as well. I mean, I think when you're in like the fastest car and you're around Monaco, I don't think it warrants anything. It's not a 10. You still have to win. You still have to get pole. You still have to do this and that. There was no crashes from him as well this weekend, but 10s have to be reserved for special occasions. So a 9's right. But up next, we've got Barcelona. We'll do a wee prediction for Barcelona, but. Who's favourite for you going into the rest of the season to win the title?
And Piastri's won what? 4 races to Norris's 2?
Aye. Max has won 2.
I think it should be Norris. He's got the experience. Regardless of him currently trailing Piastri, I do feel like he is the I'm not saying never number one driver, but I just do feel like when push comes to shove, he's the guy that I would say is number one at the team. But I wouldn't rule it Max.
Yeah, and
The way I see it, like, McLaren have, I wouldn't say they've been dominant, right? But McLaren have had the superior car, and Max is still, he's still pretty close. He still managed to pick up a win. So if he can do that in a Red Bull that is lacking, it's, if they can close the gap, then Max is still in there with a fight. So I'd say maybe.
do you know, I think it's weird
Max.
though how in F1 this season it feels like there is a really good chance that like a not really established name could win the title in a Norris and Piastri. I know you have to establish yourself first, but I mean, even when Verstappen won the title in 2021, he was already an established. Do you not think it's been like decades since like someone kind of came out the blue and just won a title?
Aye.
And I mean, how far would you have to go back? I don't even know. But yeah, I think Norris, it should be him. The experience is on his side. But this weekend, new rule change. Apparently, it's going to pull McLaren back to the pack. And I think if it does that, there's only one guy going to win the title, and that's Max Verstappen. But until next time, peace.